You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. We're Holly and Laura, besties since birth, cleaning business owners, multi-passionate doers, and founders of the Hustle Haven, a modern business education and networking collective built for fellow entrepreneurs who crave growth, support, and real connection. Now, we're your go-to girlies for the real side of entrepreneurship. We're covering wins, fails, and the messy middle. So come on in and let's talk branding, booking, burnout, and everything in between. If you're in serious need of tips, tea, total transformation, and that let's freaking go energy, you're in the right place. Grab your earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up. Hello, friends, family, followers, listeners, fellow hustlers. Welcome back to another episode of the Hustled Up Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And I know we've been hitting you with a lot of mindset episodes, which honestly are low-key our favorite, but we know you guys need that tactical-ish as well. So we are coming at you with probably one of our most tactical episodes, because really, like, this is the necessity of running a cleaning business, or any business for that matter. This is just the end all be all of like starting a business and entrepreneurship in general, because we're just going to be talking about compliance and industry regulations, like regulations and compliance, making sure you are doing everything on the up and up, because honestly, doing side hustles and not reporting your income, or not having insurance, or not having yourself protected, or protecting your customers or clients is not cutesy. So we're going to talk about all of the things that you should be considering. And we are going to get industry specific, because obviously, like, we know this industry more than any other. But we're going to get industry specific, talk about the cleaning and home service industries, and just talk about compliance and regulations and the things that you need to keep an eye out for when you are running a business. So super tactical episode. If this is something you feel like you need to know or need a refresher on, stay tuned. Hey, business owners, are you looking for a better way to communicate with your employees? Whether you've just grown tired of your boring, unresponsive email threads, or you're sick of paying tons of money for something like Slack or Connect Team, Discord is your answer, and I'm going to teach you all about it. In the Hustle Haven's brand new course, Discord 101, I am going to walk you through step by step on how to create a Discord server for your business. This detailed course features over 90 minutes of video content, as well as a bunch of PDF downloads to get your server ready to absolutely slay your employee communications. Get ready to level up your company culture with this free platform. Don't wait any longer. Discord 101 is the course for you. Okay, welcome back, my friends. So as I said, we're going to be talking about compliance. We're going to be talking about making sure you're doing everything on the up and up. And I feel like a lot of companies, right? And especially when you listen to like a business podcast, even, you're getting tips on like marketing and sales and social media and all of those things. But really, none of that matters if you're not protecting your business, and also in turn protecting your customers and your clients. It is just as important, if not even more important. And I know that nobody wants to talk about insurance and regulations and OSHA, like snooze
Not
fest,
sexy.
right?
Not sexy.
Not
Like sales
sexy.
and marketing, social media, so hot. Insurance.
Boo.
OSHA.
No. But we're going to hit you. We're going to make it fun, because you already know that's how me and Laura do. So we're going to make this a good time, or at least as good of a time as we can. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about this today, because honestly, nothing really truly matters, like your sales numbers, your marketing numbers. None of that truly matters if an employee gets hurt on the job, if a client reports something damaged, like if property is damaged, right? Your sales don't matter about that, honey.
No.
If the state audits you,
you're going to be paying all that money that you made. You're going to be getting paid back in
knock
fines.
on wood. I'm knocking on the wall. There's wood behind there.
Yeah.
If you get fined, if you get hit with a lawsuit, if you get sued, these are all
somebody gets hurt, that's like even worse. Are you kidding me?
These are all things you really have to think about when you are launching a business. And it sounds scary. Now, luckily, right? You have to be proactive, right? This is the most important thing. You cannot wait until something bad happens and then decide, oh, I should have probably gotten that insurance. I should have made sure I knew what the OSHA regulations were. I should have done. No, that's why we're going to talk about this today, because in reality, if you are training your staff right or doing things right yourself, like if it's you who's the technician in the field, if you are doing things right yourself, then you won't have to worry about these things. They're not going to happen, or they're going to happen on a minimal basis, right? But you still want to make sure that your bases are 100% all covered. And if you're in New York, like Laura and I, you especially need to make sure of this. If you're in Florida, you could probably turn this off, because everything does vary from state to state. So they say Florida is the business unicorn, and it probably is. I don't know much, but I know that they definitely are in favor of the business owner as opposed to the employee. And it's a little opposite here. So
it's very opposite.
We
here.
have to be very opposite. We have to be super careful. And we have to make sure that we are following all of the rules, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you can get into trouble later. You can get hit with fines. You can get your business shut down. I don't even know what the consequences are, but I imagine they're not good.
My chest is hurting.
It's scary.
My chest is hurting.
It's scary. No, it feels scary. But
it
Laura and I have put so many things into place to avoid crazy situations happening. So we're gonna give you like we're going to give you kind of like a bird's eye view of like what you should consider getting or need. But let me just remind you guys, we are not insurance agents. We are not attorneys. This is not legal advice, but it is advice for you to go talk to your attorney or talk to an insurance agent.
Yeah. Everything we say, like, take with a grain of salt and ask an expert in your state.
Yes, because a lot of things vary state to state. So we're going to hit you with some stuff, but at the end of the day, you need to take what you heard on here and take it to your own attorney or your own insurance agent and kind of figure out where you stand and what you need based on your business size, based on where you are operating and all of those things. But let's get into it.
All right.
So we're going to talk first about OSHA and workplace safety. And especially, I mean, really, this is important everywhere. Because
every business needs to be OSHA compliant.
Every
not just
business. But with cleaning businesses, there are some extra things that we need to keep an eye out for or do, and you need to start doing. So the first thing is that the OSHA, in simple terms, is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And it exists to create safe working environments. It exists to keep you safe. It exists to keep your employees safe. So it is super important that you are remaining compliant, and you can be audited by OSHA. That is a thing. So you want to make sure that you are compliant and you are following the rules.
Yeah. And you can even, if you want to know if you're OSHA compliant, I mean, I would do some research probably before doing this, but if you are pretty confident that all your ducks in a row, you can actually request an audit from OSHA and have them come take a look at your office, take a look at your procedures. I know it's scary.
Lord, no.
It is scary. I personally probably wouldn't, but that is something you can do if you're like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm good. I just want to make sure. And to the best of my knowledge, OSHA will give you a chance to correct anything that needs to be fixed. So they'll come. They're not the bad guys. I think OSHA seems very scary, but they're not the bad guys. As Holly said, they're there to protect you and your employees, which at the end of the day is a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So how do you make sure you are OSHA compliant, right? First thing is that you go on their website, you do your research, you figure out, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, OSHA is a federal thing. It's not just state to state. It is everywhere. So you need to make sure that you are OSHA compliant. And things to keep an eye out for are PPE. Are you providing the correct PPE and the necessary PPE if you are in the cleaning industry for your technicians or in general? Proper chemical storage, safety training. This is a big one. Huge. You should be training your employees on safety. And we do this. We have a whole little section in our employee training, and we're revamping our employee training to kind of dig even deeper on this. But things like how to even use the vacuum. You know what I mean? How to bend over with the vacuum to make sure that they are staying safe. The importance of wearing the non-slip shoes, like all of those things, right? You want to make sure you are training them, because you may know this stuff. The importance of, for example, not mixing chemicals, right? That's
that's a huge one.
Big one.
I've heard horror stories that could be deadly, and really not just scary, but mixing chemicals improperly can be deadly.
Yeah. So we train our employees not to mix anything ever, for no reason, ever, never, ever. ever. And make sure that they know it. I remember when we played our thing of Jeopardy, they thought that you could mix Dawn with something. I don't remember what it was. Was it bleach? I don't know.
No, I think it was a Fabuloso.
Fabuloso and Dawn, or I don't remember. It was some weird like mixture that they thought it was safe. And sure, maybe like putting certain things together is not going to kill you, but at the same time, it's easier for us to stay proactive and say, do not mix anything ever, because people might forget, oh, what's that thing I'm not supposed to mix?
Yeah.
So that's why we do it that way. But that's something that is super important. You need to make sure your technicians know that. Employee safety procedures, making sure you are documenting any damages or incidents that are related to OSHA. So you need to make sure that you're showing your staff all of these things. And so that's again, just a quick little rapid fire how to stay OSHA compliant, or not even how to stay OSHA compliant, but things you need to look out for if you want to be OSHA compliant.
Yeah. And don't think that just because, oh, I'm a solo cleaner, I don't need to be following any of these things. First of all, you always want to prep for the future, because you might get employees one day. You might grow if that is your goal, or whether it's not. You also need to protect yourself. So this is not just because some of you guys listening may think, well, this doesn't apply to me. This episode's not for me because I'm not trying to grow. I'm not trying to scale. I don't have a huge business. You still want to make sure you're putting into practice all of the things that we're talking about, because you also need to be safe yourself. I know when I was cleaning, I was doing really reckless things, climbing on countertops, scaling huge ladders. Like, it's just, I look back and I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why was I would never let my employee do these things. Why was I doing it?
Exactly.
Why I think it was okay.
Exactly. And it's, of course, yes, we all want to be compliant.
Yeah.
But this is deeper than that. This is, it actually keeps you safe. It actually protects you. So
you fall off a giant ladder and break your ankle.
And if you're a solo cleaner, guess what? You don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
You are out.
100%.
So you definitely do not want to take any kind of risk like that. So that's the first thing. Make sure you are OSHA compliant. The next thing that we need to talk about, and this is a little different, but we did cover this in a previous episode, I remember, about the actual business and what you need, right? So this varies state to state. And in New York, it's honestly a little more of a hassle than other states.
Shocker.
Shocker. But you need to make sure you are licensed if you need to be. Again, these are all if you need to be, because again, it varies by state. We don't need a license to run a cleaning business in our state, like a special cleaning license. But in some states, I believe you do. So you need to make sure you have that. DBA filings. Are you doing business as a different name than the original business that you set up? LLC versus sole proprietor. Like, did you actually register your business? Do you need local permits? Do you need a permit for sales tax? We need that here in New York. We have that. We got that when we registered the business. We are, able to collect sales tax and legally allowed to do that. So these are things that you need to check in your state. An attorney can help you with this. I think most states have like a state website that can also help you. If you go on LegalZoom, they can help you kind of figure out what you need. And don't assume just because someone on social media, all these like business gurus on TikTok, I'd like to think I'm one of them, but besides the point, just because they say you don't need something, that it might not be true. Maybe you don't, but you might. And you need to make sure you are doing your due diligence in your state.
Yeah. Like, for example, Florida. In Florida, you don't, again, unicorn state. They don't even need to charge sales tax on services. But here in New York, we are required. And imagine if we listen to somebody on TikTok in Florida saying cleaning businesses, they don't need to charge sales tax. And then we went a year without charging sales tax.
And then the IRS says, why didn't you file your sales tax filings?
Yes. And then we got to come up with all of that money. And it even varies service to service. So I know we talk a lot about service-based businesses, but I remember years ago, we were servicing a barbershop and they were legally not required to charge sales tax. So he tried to tell us that we were scamming him by charging sales tax because we are also a service. So just because you're a service, a cleaning service, we need to. A barbershop apparently does not. So really just do your research. Don't take anyone's word for it. Not even ours. Don't take anyone's word for it. Really do your own research.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence.
Yes. We definitely encourage you to check your state website, talk to an accountant. An accountant's going to know these things. If you need to talk to an attorney, if you need to talk to like an HR rep or something, like whatever it is that you need to talk to, verify like your hiring laws, your sales tax laws, all of those things. Just make sure you are doing your research because yeah, you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to mess this part up. So just please do what we're telling you, please.
Exactly. Are you ready to talk about the big I?
Ew.
The big I.
No, I hate it.
Dun, dun, dun.
I can't talk about this because if you follow me on Facebook, you'll hear me say all the time, insurance is a scam.
It is. No, it's not. You need it, but it's stupid.
It's a necessary scam.
It pisses me off, to be honest. It's so, all right. I know we said we weren't going to tangent, but I'm going to tangent a little bit. I always argue with my boyfriend, Justin, because I am one of those people that I'm so careful when it comes to business, but in my personal life, I am not. And he works for Apple and he's like, Apple Care is necessary. Everyone needs to get Apple Care. And I am one of those people that I will not get Apple Care. I will not get the extended warranty. I will not click the button when I purchase something expensive on Amazon that says insure it for a year. No, scam, not needed.
I know I never do that either.
Never.
I'm like, I'm a risk it kind of girl, risk it for, the biscuit kind of girly. I know.
But with business, I am not.
First of all, you have to have it. That's number one. Like, you have to have insurance if you have a business. So even if you think it's a big scam, you need it. But the other thing is that it does protect you in the event that something happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of us think we are invincible to everything, right? Oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Yeah. And then one day it does. And you're like, oh, shoot.
I have that scam insurance. No,
I need to put a claim in for the scam. No. Okay. I'm done calling it a scam because really, like, it is so important and it is so good. It feels like a scam if you run your business well.
Yes, it does. Because, like, and I will say, too, the longer you're in business and the bigger you grow, something's going to happen. I hate to say it and be the Debbie Downer, but something's going to happen.
Yeah. And you want to make sure you have insurance to protect yourselves. I'm proud to say that Laura and I have been in business for 8.5-ish years now, and we only had ever one claim. And luckily, we didn't,
knock on wood,
and we didn't even have to pay it out because the beautiful thing is that if you are, wait, let me go back here because we're talking about a certain kind of insurance and I want to
break it down.
Yeah, I want to break it down. So you have general liability insurance. This is like the most important kind of insurance you have. We're going to talk about workers' compensation as well, but we're going to start with general liability. And basically, it just helps you protect your business financially if something goes wrong. So this could be like damage to client property that you can't cover out of pocket. Claims, lawsuits, and even like things like if the client slips on the wet floor after you mop, right? That is something that GL will cover. So you need to make sure that you have a good policy because if you, for example, and luckily, I mean, the few times we did have relatively large damages, we were able to pay out of pocket for them. But if you don't, you instead will pay like a small deductible and a couple $100 usually, and then the item in question will be replaced by the insurance company. We will tell you our example because it's been quite some time now, so we can open up about it. But we had a situation where a former client accused us of stuffing paper towels
it was like a big wad of paper towels.
A big wad of paper towels in his pipes. And our cleaner completely was so distraught over this accusation because she didn't do it. And she knew she didn't do it. And she said, I would never do that. I've never done that. The cleaner had already been with us for a year when this accusation came in and we never had this issue before. So we said, you know what? It's out of our hands. I'm going to pass it along to my insurance company and they're going to deal with this. And the beautiful thing was that there was no back and forth between me and the customer, between us and the customer, but instead the insurance company took care of it. They did their, however they do, they inspect the situation, they do their research, they chat with the client, they investigate, they do a whole investigation, and then they decide, is this something that they are going to cover or not? And so I said, you know what, if they do think that somehow we did it, even though I knew for a fact we didn't, because I know my employee would never do that. But if she had done it, our insurance would have paid for it. We would have paid the deductible. So the beautiful thing is that if something happens and you are at fault, you don't have to pay. I mean, because if it would have been, if we would have had to replace pipes and stuff, if it would have been to that level, that might have been an $8,000 claim.
Oh yeah, no, we couldn't pay that.
Couldn't pay that out of pocket. Instead, maybe you're paying $500, and then the $7,500 comes from your insurance company. So these are things that are super important to make sure you have. And it's also equally important to make sure that your coverage is correct, because especially in the cleaning industry, a lot of insurance companies will have special clauses, like negligence clauses, for example. Like if a cleaner sets a bottle of bleach down on a carpet and the carpet gets damaged because there was a leak or something, right? Maybe. Um, they might consider that negligence, and they're not going to cover that because the cleaner should have known not to set the bottle of bleach down. But you can, I believe, or at least a lot of insurance companies will allow you to add some kind of like clause for this where you can be covered for an extra charge. So you just want to make sure you have the proper coverage, and make sure you shop your policy. Make sure, if you do sign up with an insurance company every year, take that policy and go to some other insurance companies and say, does this look good? Do I have what I need? It's kind of like getting a second opinion from a doctor, right? Or something. You just want to make sure that you have the best possible coverage for your business size and your business needs.
Yeah. And you want to make sure that you really communicate what you do exactly to a T with your insurance agent. Because when Holly and I, fun fact, first started out, the reason we named our business Chores and More was we were going to do a lot more than just cleaning. We were going to do pet sitting. We were going to do a bunch of different other types of cleaning services. And while we still do that, so the name is still applicable, like we do window washing, shampooing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Our insurance agent was like, listen, guys, if you want to do pet sitting, your insurance is going to skyrocket. If you want to do exterior window washing and climb houses and go on roofs, your insurance is going to skyrocket. So make sure you know exactly what you want to do and talk to your insurance agent about it, and they'll be able to best inform you. Because if the pet sitting was something that Holly and I really wanted to pursue, then yeah, we could change our insurance to include that. But for us, the cleaning was the bread and butter. It just didn't make sense to pay a ton of extra money when I think the only jobs we had got was to like watch a turtle on a parrot once or something.
We did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I miss those days though. That was a fun
The
time.
bird sat on my head.
Oh yes, the bird did go on your head.
It was fun. It was a fun time.
Yeah, that was a good
We just
time.
love animals.
We do. And honestly, I would have enjoyed that. But maybe one day we'll go back to it. But right now it doesn't make sense for us. We have our stuff that we do. But make sure that your policy does cover all of the services that you offer. So if you're a cleaning company that does also offer pet sitting or anything else, make sure that your policy is covering all of those things. And just remember that the cheapest policy is not always the best policy. So, yeah. And then also another thing that you want to make sure, so that's GL, right? So you want to make sure you have that, like absolutely, like no non-negotiable, like get yourself insurance if you don't have it, or I'm not your friend anymore. So that's number one. But you also want to consider getting bonded. Once you start hiring, this is when it's important. You don't really need it if it's just you, because you know that you're an honest person and you would never ever be a thief, because thieves are disgusting.
Yeah. Triggered.
Sorry, I'm triggered. We'll talk about that on Hustle Up After Dark. But anyway, it is so important to make sure you get bonded, because people don't really know what bonding is. And even to me, I'm still like, I don't fully understand it, but this is the easy breakdown, right? If you are insured, your business is protected. If you are bonded, bonding helps the customer financially if theft or dishonesty occurs. So it's going to cover the client's expenses if one of your employees is not being a good seed. Okay. Now, how do you avoid this? You make sure you do background checks. You make sure you are hiring good people. Ask questions during your interview to make sure that you are hiring a genuinely good person, and not just somebody who like wants money, or someone who comes from, or maybe someone who doesn't have good core values, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this just 2 weeks ago. If their core values do not match yours, they might not be honest. You might deal with a theft accusation. Either way, you want to hope that never happens, but you want to make sure you're bonded just in case. And it's not expensive to get bonded. I don't remember what we paid, but it wasn't like an expensive situation. And we only paid like a one-time fee to get bonded. Yeah. But we have that bond, and that's what that's for.
Point. Honestly, on the phone, because I always ask people what's most important to you when it comes to hiring a cleaning service, and oftentimes people will say honesty and that nothing gets stolen. Like people outright say that, and I'm like, well, not to worry, we're bonded, so it puts their mind at ease.
Yeah, we background check our employees. Yeah. We hire only the best people. We have a really genuine team when everybody has integrity, and we're bonded.
Yeah,
it's a great, just a little extra.
Because I could say, oh, we hire honest people. And I would like to think that we do, but you never know. So it puts the client's mind at ease. Like, we know we hire good people, but the client is not going to just take my word for it. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly. So that's the difference between general liability insurance and bonding. And you want to consider getting bonding once you start hiring. GL, I would get right at the beginning, like whether you're solo or
100%.
not.
100%.
Bonding, you can do when you start hiring. And so speaking of hiring, let's talk about work comp and just
What a
overall,
segue.
like, just
Segue.
right. I know, stunning.
Wow.
And just overall, like, hiring compliance, because like this is where it gets freaking scary. Everybody wants to grow a business, and you think, because I thought this, I don't know if you remember, I said this to you
I know
in
exactly what you're
the
gonna
car.
say.
We were
Mhm.
in the car on the way to a client's house, and I said, "Oh, once we get employees, our lives are going to be so much easier." Wrong. So wrong. So wrong. Love having employees. Love being able to provide an awesome job for them. Love being able to put food on their tables. Love all of those things. But it gets tricky.
It's difficult.
There are so many rules and regulations that you have to follow once you start hiring. For example, you need workers' compensation insurance. Work comp insurance is very important because if your employee gets hurt on the job, then they need to be compensated for their time off. Like if they get hurt
Yeah.
on the job and then they can't work for 2 weeks, how are they going to get paid? It's your fault they got hurt.
Yeah.
It's your business. So you need to make sure that they can get paid for that and for their doctor's bills that are associated with the injury.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you have work comp. Little tip, if you are a larger business, there are a lot of companies that offer pay-as-you-go work comp policies. If you're a growing business, this is something super important to look into, because if you're like on the yearly audit work comp policy where you're just paying an estimated amount and then all of a sudden you grew your business double like we did one time, you'll get hit with a giant bill.
Ask us how we know.
Ask us how we know. It's happened
Ask
twice.
us.
So look into a pay-as-you-go work comp policy. One of the biggest and most amazing things that we could have done for our business.
100%.
But that is something super important to have. Payroll compliance. Are you making sure you're meeting the minimum wage requirements? Are you making sure everything is documented properly? So again, this varies from state to state. So make sure that you look into payroll compliance. If they are a W-2 employee, are you getting all the proper documents? If they're a 1099 employee, or not really employee, a 1099 contractor, independent contractors, that's a whole other slew of rules. There's a lot of things you actually can't do when you have a 1099 independent contractor. But if you do have that, are you following those rules? Are you being compliant? Do you have proper employee documentation? Are you documenting literally everything? Like, you need to document every single conversation. You need to have them sign all the paperwork, and you need to have them sign it on day one. Labor laws, overtime laws. How many hours
So
in a day
much.
are they allowed to work? Lunch break laws. Required posters and notices in your office. Do you guys have your labor posters and your unemployment not announcement, like your unemployment, I don't know what it's called, like where you basically have a thing that says you can collect unemployment if you work here. Yes, you have to have that up in your office. It's ugly.
Right there.
It's ugly and
Super ugly.
disgusting.
Right there.
Right there.
You can't see it
Right
'cause
there.
it's ugly.
It's ugly, but you have to have it. You have to have these things because it's their rules. And again, the rules vary from state to state. So you need to make sure that you are checking your state website, you're talking to an attorney, talking to an HR professional. And, just remember that misclassifying your employees can become a huge issue. You can get fines. You can get all these things. It's not good. And just, honestly, like hiring your first employee seems really exciting until you realize there's like a mountain of paperwork attached to it.
Yeah.
But please, fam, take it from us, because we've we've experienced it. Do not hire somebody under the table.
No,
Don't
it's not worth
do
it.
it. It's
tempting.
not
It's
worth it.
tempting.
It's tempting because then you don't have to pay payroll taxes on them, right?
Yeah. And employees will ask for it. Oh, I only want to work if it's off the books. All right, well,
Nope.
that's not an employee for me.
Nope.
That's fine, but that's not an employee
Nope.
for me.
Yep, exactly. Don't do it. Make sure that you are doing everything on the up and up. Make sure your business is protected. And even though it is a mountain of paperwork, when you do it right, it is going to protect you in the long run. I promise.
Yes. And workers' comp, by the way, is not an optional thing. I just want to put that out there. It's not not like, oh, you should get it. No, like you will get fined up the butt if you don't have it and
Yeah.
something happens.
Yeah.
So
And some states also require other kinds of insurance. Like, for example, with us, we are required to pay into a New York paid family leave insurance. That covers, for example, an employee if they need to take a leave of absence to take care of a sick family member, or if they need to take a leave of absence for maternity leave, which is exciting. But either way, that's why women are more expensive than men. It's unfair. I mean, we are the most amazing human beings ever. We're way better than men. And I guess it can make sense. We just are worth more money. And
That's
it is
true.
what it is.
That's fair.
But these are all the things you need to make sure you are looking into. Do you have all the proper insurance policies? Do they provide the correct coverage for you? Payroll compliance, all of those things that I mentioned, they are just so important. Make sure you do your research. Don't just assume because somebody from Texas is telling you their rules and what they do. Don't assume that that's what you need to be doing. Always make sure you take it to a state attorney, like an attorney in your state, to make sure that you are fully doing everything correctly. So all of that being said, I feel like I did all of the talking.
You did.
My mouth is dry.
I was just here to chime in, honestly. I was just here to put my 2 cents in, really. And I just said this off camera, but all I can think about is Wingstop.
We're getting Wingstop for lunch.
Wingstop for lunch, and it's well past lunchtime, and I'm starving.
I'm
That's
starving.
All I can think about is wings. I'm like, OSHA, and workers' comp, and ranch sauce,
and ranch dipping sauce, and garlic parmesan.
That's all I can think about.
Well, luckily we are wrapping this episode up because all of this to say, I know we didn't go into details. That was not the point. The point of today's episode was to get you thinking about what you need to grow your business, scale your business, protect your employees, and protect your clients. Mm-hmm. You are protecting everybody involved when you are doing things on the up and up. It seems tempting and sexy, and especially in the cleaning business, to do things unethically, illegally, and irresponsibly. But when you're dusting a chandelier and that shit comes crashing down and you have to pay $10,000 for those Waterford crystals that's broke all over the floor, you're screwed. So you need to make sure that you are fully protected. And it feels expensive. It feels annoying. It feels like red tape. But at the end of the day, these are the things that are going to keep you safe, your business safe, your employees safe, your clients safe. So just make sure that you are protecting everybody involved. You're building a sustainable business. Don't ignore the boring stuff because we all love to do that, right? We all love to do that. We all love to ignore the
boring stuff.
Yeah, the insurance and the OSHA. Boring. No, but you have to make sure you do it. Just set aside some time, a few hours, to make sure that you are doing everything as you need to be. Get professional guidance. Review your policies every year. Check your state website for updates. They are always changing shit, and they don't
always.
And they never want to tell you about it.
No, this is why it's important to collaborate too with people in your state and in your area.
Yeah,
because there are certain things that we wouldn't know about if we didn't have connections near us.
Even just recently, thank goodness for our bookkeeper, Christina Hind, who was on our podcast pretty recently. She let us know that in New York, you now have to have a retirement plan for your employees. You must. You don't have to contribute to it, but they have to have an option to put their own money away for retirement. And I would not have known that had she not told us.
No, I would have no idea.
So luckily we were able to get that going. And now it's actually a fun, cutesy little benefit that we offer. But regardless, we would not have known that was a mandatory thing. So you need to make sure you are constantly reviewing the things that you need to be doing. You should be doing it yearly, or actually I would, dare I say, every 6 months, maybe even every quarter. You should be just really doing a deep dive to make sure that you are completely 100% doing everything right and that you're going to pass all audits that may come your way.
Yeah. And all of this to say, all of this advice that we're giving you, when you take it in, it does sound expensive, like you said, but this also means that you are going to have to raise your prices. You're no longer going to be the cheapest in town, and it's your job to educate the client why you're more expensive. Well, you see, we're bonded and insured. We pay really well. We have employees that we take care of and pay really well. We offer them benefits. It's your job to educate the clients as to why you are no longer the cheapest option, but why it's so worth it. It's so worth it to go with you because they are safe and protected. Their home is safe and protected, and your employees are safe and protected. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the cheapest anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to be Walmart.
No, you don't.
No.
Well, Walmart's amazing, but
I know,
besides
I love
that.
Walmart, but you don't want to be them as a cleaning business.
But here is the thing that I want to just, before we wrap up, which we are wrapping up, as a client, if you're listening to this and you have a cleaning company who cleans for you, here are some red flags you need to think about.
Oof, that's good.
If they don't have insurance and they're not bonded, if they don't have any terms and conditions that they send your way. That's a whole other topic. We discussed this, I remember, on a previous one, but we've recently updated that to be super specific. But if there's no terms and conditions like that they send you, if you're seeing that their practices are unsafe, if they are a cash only company,
Yeah.
that's a big one. And you won't be able to really tell this yourself, but like if they're hiring without paperwork and if they are not paying their taxes, but like those you're not really going to be able to tell, but you can kind of pick up what, the business owner's putting down, really.
Oh, yeah. And some of these things almost seem like a perk. Like, oh, you only take cash. That's great. I don't have to pay sales tax. Oh, you don't have a terms of service. That's great. You must be so easygoing. No.
It's
No,
not. It's
a
not.
perk.
It means that your home that you're letting people into is not protected.
Mhm.
I could go on a rant about this, but I want to get some Wingstop. But
We'll save it for another
we'll
episode.
save it for another episode. Maybe we'll do an episode for the client next time, right? That would be kind of fun. Then all the people who listen to this, all of our cleaning company and cleaning business owner friends can then forward it to like everybody they know.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. But anyway, so I hope that this was helpful. This is like the first thing you need to be thinking about when you have a business or are starting a business, or even if you've had your business for a while, but you are like, oh, I didn't think about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these are things, this is first. Sales and marketing come later. Social media comes later. Posting your content comes later. All of those things come later. Make sure you are doing everything correctly. Make sure you are compliant. Make sure you are protected. And that's it. That's all I have for you this week. I hope it was helpful.
I think it was helpful. Does this mean it's time to go get Wingstop?
And it's time for us to go get Wingstop. So we are hopping off of this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Let us know, honestly. I mean, you might not want to let us know publicly, but slide in your DMs. DM us with any questions you have. We'll try to answer as best we can. But also let us know if there was anything in this episode that you're like, oh my God, I did not even realize, or I didn't even think about that. I want to know. I want to know if we're actually being helpful. So
yeah, and don't be embarrassed. Don't think like, oh my gosh, I don't have any of this in place. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. You know how many things we did not know until we know? A lot of lessons learned the hard way. So don't be embarrassed to let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And if there's anything you ever want us to talk about on a future episode, also please let us know. But anyway, we're going to hop off of here. We're going to go get some Wingstop, go kick some major booty this week, and we'll see you next time.